Welcome everyone to the Soft Lock podcast for the 27th of September. This is a special episode. We're doing a Minicast today because me and Jonathan are actually in person again. We're back together.
Whoa.
The band is back together.
That's a big deal.
Did you know we broke up?
I think we only broke up physically.
Yeah, you're right.
So I guess it doesn't really matter.
But yeah, Jonathan came into town here. He's staying at my place because we were doing the Renaissance Faire, which I've never done before. So big deal. But we figured, while we're in person, we might as well record a little podcast for you guys.
A Minicast.
Like the good old days.
Yeah.
This is the Soft Lock podcast. Every couple weeks, we're going to give you a deep dive into a different gaming topic. Today, honestly, consider this like a bonus episode. We're just going to be talking to each other for a little bit, catching up, seeing what you guys are up to, what games we've been playing and all that. But normally we'll have like a concrete topic in mind. And you can find us at Soft Lock Pod on pretty much all social media platforms. We're doing a big push on TikTok and Instagram, so go find us there to figure out what our main episodes look like. But for now, we're just going to be chatting it up. So Jonathan, how you been?
I've been 2 thumbs up. One goes whoosh, one goes ding.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Did you enjoy your trip into the Steel City of Pittsburgh?
Of course, I was taking a big sip of water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. This is the second time I've been in the Steel City, and it's just as hilly as it was before.
Oh, yeah.
And I like it. I like Pittsburgh quite a bit.
Good. Yeah, so I don't know how many you've been to, but I know you're like the Renaissance guy in my little circle, the person who's been there the most, besides your girlfriend Isla.
Yeah.
So what was this like compared to the other ones, and what like did you enjoy yourself and all that?
So, I used to go to a lot of Renaissance fairs when I was a wee lad, but it was I was too young to have any formative memories, I don't think. So, I don't really remember much about those. Apparently, there's one in upstate New York that is like supposedly one of the best ones in the country. Very fancy, very expensive though, and I used to go to that. And it's unfortunate because zero memories of it. So,
Damn.
Make sure that your children have cognitive thought when you're taking them to things.
Yeah, I went to Disney World when I was a baby. Think I remember that?
No,
that was probably $100 or something.
And do your parents go like, you don't remember that?
Exactly.
We spent, yeah.
No, I was 2.
Like,
I was probably in a stroller.
Exactly. Do you remember what was going on when you were 2, Mom and Dad? I don't. Well, I wasn't 2 or 3, but I was like, I don't know. I must have been like 12. But still, I was not paying attention.
Yeah.
So, I feel like maybe they should have read the room. Be like, Jonathan doesn't pay attention. Just let him sit in his room. But no, I appreciate all they've done for me. I wish I do remember that. But no, I don't really remember that. But I've heard it's quite good. I have like the inklings of memories of what happened, kind of, but nothing concrete. And then me and Isla have been going to Renaissance fairs recently. Isla goes to a lot of, my girlfriend Isla goes to Renaissance fairs.
You should have to put it out there so people believe you.
Yeah, people believe me. She doesn't go. She goes to another school, but she's real. I swear. She goes to a lot of Renaissance fairs with her family. So, of course, I am going to Renaissance fairs now with her family. And they are a lot of fun. I think this Renaissance fair was exactly on par with the other Renaissance fairs that I've been to.
Cool.
It was a great experience overall.
Yeah. It did rain the entire time, which kind of sucked. But it was my first one. I've never been. And I had a great time. Started drinking beer at like 10:30 in the morning. And
Cheap prices.
It was so cheap, and just ate a lot of food and saw a lot of cool people in costumes and a lot of silly people in silly costumes. And it was a good time. I had a lot of fun.
And the strange thing is that not only was it dirt cheap, both the food and beverages, but they tasted good too.
Yeah, I was expecting to be like ballpark food.
Yeah,
almost.
right?
I was like, meh, all right.
Did you have the sticky mac?
No.
I'm sorry, stabby mac.
No, I did not have mac and cheese on a stick.
Oh, man.
But I did have a turkey leg, and it was wasn't that good. But
Yeah.
it's just the experience, right?
Yeah, the experience is, for the turkey leg is, you do it once and then you go, all right, I don't want to be a medieval peasant. But if they had stabby mac back then maybe things would be different.
What were you dressed up as?
I was dressed as the Final Fantasy 1 Black Mage, specifically the one from the first one, because the Black Mages appear in a lot of the other Final Fantasy games, but their designs are more elaborate, and I couldn't do that. I put this costume. It was a very cheap costume. So if you're a Final Fantasy fan and you like the Black Mages, and you think they're like funny or something like that, like I do, you can probably get this costume together in a couple of days, under $40. And I think it was actually a very well put together costume at the end. I think it was very clear what I was too.
I was shocked, and I was also shocked how many people recognized you. Which I guess I shouldn't have been because it was a nerd convention. But
no, I'm also shocked at how many people recognized me. For the audience, like I want to say, 5 people recognized me in maybe the first hour of the Renaissance Fair, and most of them were employees. So if you're working at a Renaissance Fair, you're probably like
big nerd.
Yeah, probably big nerd, and it was like the younger guys. So they definitely do this because they get like they think it's fun probably, and they're just into that. So I got 5 employees pointed at like Final Fantasy Black Mage, and I was like, yeah, man, yeah, and it was awesome. And so first I was surprised that so many people recognized me, and then no one else recognized me for the rest of the day, and then I was surprised that not more people recognized me. So I got a lot of different guesses though from people. I had Sorting Hat.
Which, to be fair, did that hat you got, is that just like generic Amazon brown hat?
Yeah, generic Amazon brown hat. But it worked very good for the costume. It was, cheap. First thing you look up when you look up brown wizard hat. I got the dude from He-Man. Don't remember his name.
Oh, right.
That guy, there one guy, the glassblower, was saying that I looked like the guy from He-Man. Shadow Money Wizard Gang.
Oh my god. You were kind of like Shadow Money Wizard Gang.
Funny enough, that was actually my plan before Black Mage.
Really?
Because I didn't think I could get Black Mage together because of the eyes.
Yeah.
So I was just going to do the same costume, sort of, but alter it and get, like, fake gold chains and stuff and be Shadow Money Wizard Gang. So when that girl, when we were walking out of the place, asked about Shadow Money Wizard Gang, I've remembered it, and I don't remember what I said. I think I said...
You say yes?
I think I said something along the line. I didn't say no to anyone who guessed what I was, because I wasn't going to go, actually, I'm Final Fantasy 1 Black Mage. If anyone guessed what I was like, yeah, sort of. I gave, like, non-definitive, like, yeah, kind of, close enough. Or I think one person, I just said yeah.
Yeah, I just went as generic D&D character because I was like, let me see what I can find at Goodwill on one trip.
Sir Jonkin is not generic.
No, I wasn't my character. The closest thing I had to my character was I got a iron-on patch that resembled my D&D character. Everything else was just one trip to Goodwill. Let's see what I can find.
Yeah, well, that's how it should be. Those are the best costumes.
Yeah, it was great. But back to the Final Fantasy Black Mage. That's our gaming connection for today. Because we got to segue back into what the podcast is about.
The gaming.
It's been nice to have you in town, but I think one of the best things has been playing a lot of couch co-op and party games that I just don't normally get a chance to play. But like, I will. So let's talk about Party Animals.
Oh,
Party Animals just came out like 2 or 3 days ago, I think. It's basically like Gang Beasts. It's pretty much just Gang Beasts, but with a little more control over your character, I would say.
But with appealing characters.
Yeah, and they're all like little fuzzy guys.
Yeah.
And
say what they are.
They're furries.
Yeah.
They're furries. But I don't know about you. I feel like this is the type of game that I would get bored of very quickly. But I've also had some of the best moments I've ever had in a multiplayer game. Just the little few times we've played.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what the game... I think that's kind of the experience that Party Animals is supposed to be. When Party Animals was first announced and shown, I was, like everything, super skeptical, because I was just like...
Well, you know.
Yeah. I was like, this is just Gang Beasts. They're just stealing Gang Beasts? What the fuck is this all about? Because the characters really move, and it's just super reminiscent of both Gang Beasts and Human Fall Flat.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw this come out, I immediately was thinking ripoff. I was like, okay. I mean, I didn't really feel like the developers of both those games really fully capitalized on what they had. Maybe Human Fall Flat. They did a lot.
Maybe a little.
Yeah, maybe a little. But Gang Beasts, they certainly didn't.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I guess they're just going to do what Gang Beasts didn't. But now that I've actually played it, I do see the appeal. I think it's really funny. And I do think it's different enough to be like they're two sides of the same coin pretty much.
Yeah, and I do think that this is pretty much the developer being like, we really like Gang Beasts, and we wish it was like a live service game. So
Yeah.
what if we just did that and made a bunch of money in the process? They're
Yeah.
probably not going to, but they'll probably. I'd say it's decent. It's on Game Pass, so like they probably already made their money.
Yeah, if it's on Game Pass, I feel like squeezing money out of consumers is kind of like that desire isn't really there.
Yeah, like I'm surprised it wasn't free to play, but I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun with it. We also took a trip to a retro game store, and I picked up a classic hit from my childhood, Wii Play,
Oh, right.
for $6. People really don't like Wii Play, huh?
I just think we wear something else. I just think Wii hardware, like disc and stuff, are just,
Wii Series games.
Yeah, Wii Series games are just dirt cheap. All of them are like that. I saw like Super Monkey Ball for like I saw Super Monkey Ball on the shelf, and I was like, oh, that's definitely gonna be like $35, like $40 at least. No, it was like $12. And, you couldn't find anything on the Wii section that was more expensive than maybe $30.
Well, Xenoblade Chronicles was there for like 120.
Oh, really?
Twilight Princess was there for like 100, I think.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy, especially considering that there's an HD version.
I did see the HD version. That was 130.
Are you serious? Oh, it's a good thing I got that.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's kind of nuts that the Wii line of games Wii U and Wii games are starting to explode in price. That's scary.
Yeah, I mean, I told you I saw Wii Sports not in its sleeve or case for $50.
That's a lot.
That's
That's
I
ridiculous.
don't understand that. Is it just that companies made too many games? Like here's the only thing I can imagine is that like let's say like THQ, one of those like factories that just pumped out games all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe they just made too many games, like that they could never reach the full Wii attach base, but they thought maybe they could. But then Wii Sports, there's only one for every Wii. And maybe like people lose their discs or whatever. I don't know. I couldn't imagine why it was so expensive.
Yeah, I can't imagine why it's so expensive either. I guess you can't get yeah, if you break your copy of Wii Sports, you can't get another one, can you? You can't just like buy it.
Yeah,
at
I
a store.
don't know if they ever sold it by itself. I don't think they did.
I mean, who's breaking their Wii? I've never met anyone who didn't have Wii Sports with them.
Well, right,
Never.
because like it came with the Wii.
Yeah, it came with the Wii, and it's also like sacred. There's
Yeah,
something
you're
about it that like everyone has their copy of Wii Sports.
I have one right there.
Yeah, where is it?
Right there in the sleeve.
Yeah.
I don't
Got
know.
it? Yeah, there
Yeah,
it is.
just everyone had it in the sleeve too. I don't think they even had a case for it.
I had. Do you have Link's crossbow training?
I do.
Oh shit! Wow,
We should play that.
that was a weird one. Yeah, is that 2-player?
I don't think so. I don't know. We did play the Link's Crossbow Training spiritual successor in Nintendo Land, though. That was fun.
Oh, what was it called?
I don't
Is
know.
it Zelda Quest?
Yeah, it
I
might
don't
just be like
know.
Zelda Adventure or something.
Nintendo Land. Oh man, dude, we can have a whole podcast to talk about fucking Nintendo.
Nintendo Land might be the best Wii U game.
I agree.
I don't know. I'd have to like look at my library and decide, but I'm pretty sure it's my favorite.
I actually fully agree, and I would be surprised if anything else took the cake.
Yeah, 3D World's pretty good.
3D World is pretty good, but yeah, I guess that's true. But
For variety.
yeah, for variety, I guess I'm like I don't even count any game that's not on the Wii U anymore because it's just like, oh, I can just play it on the Switch.
Yeah.
Like
that's
Nintendo
true.
Land is probably, if I had every other game from the Wii U ported to Switch except for Nintendo Land, I think I would keep my Wii U just
Oh,
for
absolutely.
Nintendo Land.
Nintendo Land is probably the only reason I still have my Wii U. I'm still holding out hope that they're going to put Xenoblade X on Switch. If not, I'm going to play that on the Wii U, but other than
that
like,
ship might have been sailed. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like they're definitely working on it.
Don't you think? I feel like people consider Xenoblade X to be like a failure.
I don't know about a failure. I think it's just that it launched kind of rough and it was on the Wii U.
Yeah.
So it was kind of doomed to begin with. But then, people like it. People who play Xenoblade like Xenoblade X.
Yeah.
And it's the thing where they remastered the first one so that they could get the developers ready to make the third one. Then they ended the third one on a cliffhanger that vaguely connected to X. So I imagine we're getting a remaster of X.
Right.
I don't know. I don't even know.
Maybe
I don't know. Or an
I don't know.
X2.
X2.
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't even know what that would be about.
I've never played X. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you can make your own character in that one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like MMO light, I guess. Well, they all are.
But it's about mechs too, which actually is pretty sick. But I heard when Xenoblade X came out, I heard a lot of people complaining about how the absurd amount of time it takes to get your first mech.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's like actually conducive of how the game is structured. I'm imagining that once you get your first mech, then like the rest of them follow suit. But I don't fucking know.
I think the skells, the mechs, are like more for transportation than anything.
Right.
So I think it's kind of like in a game where it keeps fast travel from you until you've seen a decent part of the map, and then it gives you fast travel. I think it's
Dark
kind of like that.
Souls.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Armored Core.
Armored Core.
Oh no, I just thought about Armored Core thinking about mechs.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are you talking about?
I play that so bad.
Yeah, but I mean, besides like the games we've been playing lately, what have you been playing in your own time, on your travels, in your daily life? What you've been up to?
Well, actually, hands up for this. Halo Combat Evolved.
Is it time to make the announcement?
I think so.
Yeah, we probably should have done it at the beginning of the show, huh?
Yeah.
So, me and Jonathan have started our journey playing Halo. So, he is the big Halo guy. I pretty much have only played Halo Reach. We talked about this on some episode. I don't remember which one. But, like, I've played a little bit of the campaign and multiplayer and Firefight for the games that those are available on. But I've never sat down and just played them. I don't know the story. I don't know any of the set pieces. And so we're going to be making our way through each of the Halo games. I think all of them.
Yes.
Maybe even Infinite.
Probably. We're going to have to figure out how we're going to do 5.
Oh, we can do it. I'll record it.
That's true.
But yeah, so we're actually making content out of it.
Yes.
So coming your way, probably within the next couple weeks, you're going to see a supercut of our entire playthrough of Halo Combat Evolved, because we already finished the game.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to be getting several bonus episode minicasts, kind of like this one, where we're just talking about what do we think of the game, what do we think of the story, where do we think it's going, and by we I mean me, because I don't know where it's going.
Right.
And then Jonathan kind of reminiscing about, the first time I played this, I was 13, and and then the only one I have that for is Reach, so that'll be a big episode as well. But yeah, expect a lot of content coming your way. That's extra. It's not like we're replacing the main podcast and social media stuff for it. This is extra for you because we just really wanted to play the game and thought, why not share it with the community and everything.
We want to make a funny video, and I really want to play Halo 2.
I also want to play Halo 2.
We got to start that soon.
Yeah, so yeah, keep an eye on our social media to find out when all those videos are coming out, but once we get into it, you can expect them coming out at a pretty regular cadence, I would say.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully.
Well, the games kind of get bloated, not bloated in a bad way, but long towards the end, so.
Yeah, well, Infinite does.
Oh my god.
I don't know about the rest of them, but...
Yeah, I don't even know if Infinite has co-op yet, because it didn't launch with it.
That's a topic for another day.
But yeah, I mean, just quick thoughts. I really liked Halo 1, so I'm not worried about the rest of the series. I think everything's going to go fine. I'm going to love it, so we'll see.
Yeah, the best thing that could have happened to us was to have the game not crash while we were in the middle of a long mission, which it didn't happen, but we did have the incident at the very end.
Yeah, we did have some old game / port of an old game jank that comes with playing games nowadays. But we'll talk about that in the little podcast coming
Yeah,
your
we
way.
will. Moving on.
Yeah. What else you been playing?
Final Fantasy V on the Game Boy Advance. That game's really good.
Is that a fan translation or is that real?
That's real. So Final Fantasy V the original version of the game did not make its way to America.
And what was that on? NES or?
NES, SNES. So the Super Famicom. Because I feel like most people know about this. For people who don't know about this, Final Fantasy had a convoluted release history in America.
Wasn't like Final Fantasy 2 was Final Fantasy 4 or something?
Yes. So Final Fantasy 1 released in America as Final Fantasy 1. Then they skipped Final Fantasy 2, and then they skipped Final Fantasy 3. They did not release it in America for whatever reason. Supposedly, Squaresoft believed that Americans would not appreciate the RPG combat or all the mechanics, whatever. Then they released Final Fantasy 4 in America as Final Fantasy 2. And then that was a success, I'm pretty sure. And then they didn't release Final Fantasy V in America as Final Fantasy 3 or anything like that. They just skipped Final Fantasy V, and then they just released Final Fantasy 6 as Final Fantasy 3 in America. And then, Final Fantasy 7 came out like a couple years later, and they're like, fuck it. Just call it 7.
But then didn't they end up going... I don't actually care. I don't know why I'm bringing it up. But didn't they go back and release the older ones as like under a different name?
I don't know if that's true. They did. They did end up releasing the other ones
on GBA.
On Game Boy Advance. But I also believe that they released an anthology, sort of like the Pixel Remaster, for PlayStation 1. So I think they released a lot of them. I don't know if it was all of them, but I think it was like 1, 2, 3, I think it was 1 to 5 on like PS1 or something like that.
You didn't see a lot of like pure 2D sprite based games on the PS1.
No, I mean, I think the only reason they did that was because, was because it was just a port.
Yeah.
Which, I guess they were making ports even back then. That's always kind of surprising to hear. Like, oh, you ported this to this? That's kind of fucking nuts.
Like Mario All-Stars. That's the first collection, big mainstream collection.
Yeah, that's probably one of the first instances of a remake.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Big time remake.
Big
I mean,
time
there's,
remake.
other games.
Oh, yeah, of course. But yeah, Final Fantasy V is bomb as fuck.
Yeah. Better than 4?
Yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
I know you really like 4.
I really like 4. But when I think of Final Fantasy, the main thing that draws me to Final Fantasy is the job system. And I think that's what I think about when I think of Final Fantasy. I think of the job system and picking classes and gaining experience and switching between classes and just experimenting shit like that. And I don't know how many other people also think that, but the job system is not really that prevalent in the entire series. It's the most prevalent system they have because every Final Fantasy game is vastly different. They change the gameplay mechanics, they change the setting, everything's completely different, which I really, really like out of Final Fantasy. But my first Final Fantasy ever was Bravely Default, and I fucking loved that game when I played it when I was in high school, but a lot of the nuance was kind of lost on me because I was still, 15 or something like that.
Yeah.
And now that I'm playing Final Fantasy V, you can see how much of the DNA of 5 has been transferred over to so much of the rest of the series. Like 4 was the first big one, I think. Like I played the first 3. I was like, these are pretty good, but I was like, that was kind of it. I like finished them. I was like, all right. Final Fantasy 4 was like, there was a plot, there was so many characters, it was interesting. The active time battle was super intuitive. I was like, whoa, okay, if I was around in the 90s, this would have been like, holy fucking shit. And then they followed up with Final Fantasy V, and me today in 2023 is going, holy fucking shit, this is awesome. I love it. And you really can see how much DNA from 5 has been transferred over to the rest of the series. I feel like the job system is probably one of the most important developments for not only Final Fantasy, but the RPG scene. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's definitely fallen to the wayside nowadays in favor of set characters with their own style. I think, I personally think it's part of that is because people are people who make the games are trying to simplify. Mm-hmm. There's people who go for the whole hardcore of the hardcore. Right. Bravely Default 2, it's Octopath Traveler, stuff like that. And then there's people who try to simplify it to get more people in the door. So they're just kind of here's this guy. Mm-hmm. Here's Mike. And Mike uses a gun, and he has gun abilities. But you don't really get to change, the class or anything like that.
Yeah. I always love RPGs that have that type of customization, but I've also loved RPGs that do not give you customization. As long as they really give you variety, and I don't give a shit if Mike and his gun abilities are just static and I can't do anything. So many RPGs that I played have that, and that's completely fine. Mm-hmm. But if all of his abilities are do damage in this way, do damage in this way, then that could be a little boring.
Yeah.
Give Mike flash bang, make him what is it? What's Jesse's new name? What's McCree's new name?
Oh, Cassidy.
Yeah, Cassidy. Do flashbang, super reload. I don't give a shit. Just make it interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad you're enjoying the Final Fantasy run. I am nervous to see how you react when you get up to the newer ones after playing the old ones now.
Yeah, and the more I see of specifically 15 and 16, and I played 15, and I really liked 15 when I played it, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, am I gonna start playing 15 again and be like, what the fuck is this? I don't know. I really don't know. Because these are really wowing me, and I'm really falling in love with them. So I don't know what's gonna happen when I get to them. I think I've come to terms with the fact that they're completely different.
When do you think that split was? Was 11 the online one? Is that
11 was the MMO? Yeah, it was the first MMO they did.
Because 10 and 10-2, they're turn-based, right?
10 and 10-2 are turn-based. I think the real split I think when Final Fantasy changed to the point where a lot of people didn't really recognize it anymore, like I think that there's a lot of instances of that. 6 goes steampunk. 7 fully goes into steampunk, into like more of a modernish setting. 8 stays with that. There's so many splits in the Final Fantasy like timeline where you see like how different it is. But I think that probably the big one that I feel like a lot of fans could probably agree with would be 13.
Yeah.
I think people look at 13 as the black sheep, and I don't think that's a controversial opinion at all. But just the way 13 handles its characters and its visuals and its gameplay, it looks so... It just seems so bizarre. And I see a lot of people who play through the entire Final Fantasy series just skip 13 because they're just like, I don't... it's a whole trilogy, and it just doesn't seem very interesting. And... 12 before that was, a fantasy setting with... It wasn't turn-based anymore.
Yeah.
It was more like... It kind of functioned like an MMO, but there was still so much customization. Mm-hmm. People really, really liked 12. 13 happened, and then they haven't really made something similar since from before 13. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think 13 is the hard cut where things have changed. But that's not necessarily bad. People like 15.
I personally like the direction they've been going lately from the few that I've played.
People really like 16. People like 15. A lot of people even like 13. A lot of people even like 8. And a lot of people fucking hate 8. So there's going to be people who enjoy whatever you put down. So, it's fine.
I've also been playing a really big RPG lately because I played Starfield. Started the day it came out, and I finished it already because I did not want to play it anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm not...
That sucks.
I'm not a Starfield hater. I actually think there's a lot in Starfield that is really, really damn good and really impressive. But there's just so much baggage that comes along with it that I can't, in good conscience, tell anyone that you should play Starfield instead of replaying Fallout 3, 4, or Skyrim.
Right.
But if you're looking for something that changes it up and you really like those games, it is definitely worth looking at because you might find that one thing that you just really vibe with that you didn't in the other games.
Yeah.
There's all the systems you'd expect, including encumbrance, which is even more damning than before when you literally can go to an entire galaxy filled with stuff.
Right.
And you can't pick up any of it because you're holding too many spacesuits. Like, that system is definitely antiquated. I understand why it's still in there. Games like Cyberpunk even have it nowadays, so I understand why you're keeping up with it. But there's so much new as well. Like, spaceship building. I spent hours just building spaceships.
Is there space combat?
There is space combat, and it's actually good. Right. Like, it's not... Even Battlefront 2 I liked, not very good.
Right.
And it's not simulator, it's not Elite Dangerous, but it is good. And there's so much customization of the ship. That might be my favorite part of the game.
Right.
Because you can change, not only can you change like the colors of everything and the finish of everything, it's like, it has, I don't know if it's AI or if it's just really well coded. There's like, certain pieces can only fit on other pieces, and there's so much fail-safe detection to make sure that you're not putting a piece in a place that will, like, you can't put the gun behind your wing and then you'll shoot and it'll just, like, block it. There's all these, like, notifiers that tell you when you can and can't do things, and it gives you so much freedom. Like, the first thing I did when I was building a ship was I took the ship they gave me, ship that I stole, and I just took everything, I took all the parts off and just set them, like, wherever I could find, and then built it all back together in a different format using all the same pieces,
right?
But it looked completely different, and it like didn't behave any different, but just the way it looked when it was flying around, or the way that the guns were positioned, made it easier to lock on certain things. It's awesome. The only complaint I have for that is that you have to buy all the pieces,
right?
And it's unless you're a thief, money's hard to come by in these kinds of games.
Yeah, they usually are in the beginning, and then you somehow steamroll through the rest of it.
Another thing that I really, really enjoyed was the skills, like the upgrade system, similar to Fallout, where each skill does something different and it's decently unique. But there were so many of them that are just have some more health, or
Right.
be able to carry more. And you kind of have to get those. So it slows down your progress to getting the things you want, like being able to tame animals, well, aliens, or being able to pickpocket. You have to unlock a skill to pickpocket. You have to unlock a skill to, I believe, customize certain parts of your ship and all this stuff. And it's a skill tree, so you have to work your way up to those.
Oh, I
But
see.
along the way, I have to keep putting points into health and carrying things and persuasion and things like that.
Oh, that's weird. Usually in Skyrim did it really well. When you leveled up, you said, which one do you want to increase by 10? Health, stamina, magic. And then you get a skill.
No, its health is completely removed because they give you health based on your armor as well. So that's, you find out in the world. But because I was doing that, I didn't get a lot of the skills I wanted because you level up so slow.
Really?
So slow. The only way you really level up fast is by doing the main quest. And even then, I finished the game at like level 30, 35, something like that. And there's you could probably get up to like, I don't know what the level cap is, but each skill,
Like 50 or something.
each skill has like 3 levels or 4 levels
Right.
that you can upgrade for a skill point. And there's dozens of skills. So I'd imagine that even if you're on like New Game Plus 5, you probably still don't have all the skills.
Yeah, well, getting all the skills in any of those games is borderline impossible.
I know, and no one really should. I think you should really pick a lane in these kinds of games, like do the thing that you like. But it was kind of hard to do that when you leveled up so slow by exploring, and even doing side quests didn't give you that much.
Right.
There's some side quests that are really good.
Right.
Like there was one that I found in the first main encounter of the game where I picked up a note, and it was like, "To my son, please come here." And I think if you were watching me on stream, you might have seen this, but they were like, "To my son, please come here to get your inheritance," or something. And I was like, well, my character's not a thief, but like, I'll just go check it out and see what's going on.
Yeah.
And then I got there, and there was a bunch of pirates raiding the place. So I was like, all right, well, I'll clear them out. And as I went through, I learned this story about how this woman was leaving inheritance for her son, but her son disagreed with the choices she made in life. So it was a whole like political inter-family conflict there. And you learned the whole story. And then by the end, you realize that the son's just not going to take the stuff, and that if no one takes it, it's just going to go into like the hands of the military or whatever.
Right.
So you get down, and then she's just Batman. Like this, the woman is Batman.
Okay.
She's a vigilante who goes out into space and shoots down pirate ships, like literally pirate ships.
That was not what I was expecting.
Yeah, and that her inheritance was that she wanted her son to become Batman, she's called the Mantis. And you're like, well, the son's not coming. I don't want the military to get this. So I just took the suit, the bat suit, the Mantis suit.
You're the Mantis now?
I'm the Mantis, and then I got the Mantis ship. And I was like, this is a really good ship. Sure, I'm not a thief, but like, I don't want because my character, my like headcanon was that they disagreed with there's 2 different political factions, and I disagreed with the one. So I was like, I don't want them to get it. I don't want the pirates to get it. I'm just going to take it, and then maybe I'll like sell it or something, or dismantle it and give it to one of my companions. But then I left the planet with the stolen ship.
Okay.
And pirates started to raid me, and I was like, oh fuck, I don't know, like, are the guns on this ship good? I don't even know how to use them. And I started shooting, and then I heard on the comms, one of the pirates was like, wait a minute, that's the Mantis. And then they all immediately like jumped out of there. They were like, we don't want to deal with this. So I just didn't have to deal with pirates my whole game.
Really?
They did not want to have anything to do with me. They were afraid of me. That was pretty cool. And then a lot of like my personal role playing was fun, but the characters in the story are just so bleh.
Really?
So whatever. I did not care about any of them. I didn't want to romance any of them. I didn't want to have any of them as companion. One of the first things I did was level up my character's introvert skills, so I got bonuses if they weren't with me.
Yeah, I like that stat.
Yeah.
I usually have those.
And then I went on my way, and I started doing side quests, and like the Mantis one was good. There was a couple other ones that were really good. I don't want to talk about them all here because we're kind of running low on time.
Right.
But, there were some really good stories in there, but a majority of them are just, hey, I own a store and I need some plants. You want to go get me some plants?
Fetch quests.
Yeah. Or like, hey, these people are bothering me. You mind like shooting them out of the sky and then I'll pay you something? I was like, all right, sure. That's a majority.
Yeah. I don't know. Here's the thing about that. I don't know if I'm surprised or not surprised. It's like...
I'm not surprised, but when your options are main quest that's boring, side quests that might be good, or exploring planets that are just empty.
Yeah.
Just empty.
That is the thing I'm not excited for. All the gameplay I've seen of it is usually in some type of facility, which is like some type of white hallway. I'm like, okay. Or they're outside in like some red planet. I'm like, What's going on here?
The planets are so empty, and one of the main quests, the main through line for all of the main quests, is to explore planets. And the first time you do it, they make you explore the hell out of that planet to find what you're looking for, and there was nothing. I probably walked around this planet for 2 hours and found a alien, and then that alien just kept showing up, or a rock that I could mine.
Right.
That was it.
Isn't that exactly what No Man's Sky is? Like a planet will be like one like common species and then like one common resource.
Pretty much. I mean, they've added a lot of stuff to No Man's Sky, but that's pretty much it. It's pretty much the same. But then I think they might have realized their mistake with that, because then in every main quest after that, they just drop your ship right next to the thing you need, so you have no incentive to explore the planet.
That is insane. What if you were missing like fantastic side quests?
I bet I am.
Okay.
I know I am. 'Cause like I said, there are some really good ones, but I just was like, I can't keep doing these side quests hoping that they're going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's still the game's fault, especially if they're not incentivizing you to explore. If they drop you on a planet and be like, that's the thing you need.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, see, that's on the planets, they'll mark points of interest.
Oh, really?
So whenever I'm landing on a planet, I'm not just going to oh, that looks cool, I'll land there, and then see what's around. There's like research facility or mining base or whatever, and you land there. But 9 times out of 10, it's just a like monster hallway. Like it's just a bunch of enemies in a room, and then you clear them out and you're done.
Is the combat fun at least?
It's okay. It's like it's Fallout gunplay, but a little better because there's no VATS, so they had to make it a little better.
I think that honestly, I'm still actually excited to play Starfield, despite everything I've heard about it, because I don't know. There's something about it that just I'm like looking at it and I'm like, ooh, I still need to play that.
You do. If you like Bethesda games, I think it's worth a shot. But I can't in good faith say that it's better than the other ones I've played.
Right.
But what I will say, last thing I'll say about Starfield, is that I didn't like the main quest until I did. Probably the last 4, let's say the last 6 or 7 missions in the main quest are actually some of the coolest things I've seen ever in a sci-fi game, movie situation ever.
Yeah, I've heard it gets pretty wild.
And the new game plus might be the best new game plus in any RPG.
I have heard that,
which is crazy.
It's a little funky, yeah.
Because you'd think, wow, I just spent 60 hours exploring nothing. Let me go do it again.
Yeah.
But it actually, I'm not going to spoil what it is. It actually is really cool and really worth it. And the story that they have to back it up is actually unique, well told, and got me, like, I got tingles. There's a moment where, I'm not going to spoil what you do, but I'm just saying there's a moment where you have to return to Earth. And from that point on, I'm like, oh, dude, I've never seen anything like this. Really? And I really liked that part. It left a very good taste in my mouth at the end of the game.
All right. I'm excited now. Yeah. I think, I wanted to say this earlier, I think more developers need to play Deathloop.
Yeah.
Because I feel like so many games are touted to be like, biggest world, Witcher bigger than Witcher 3, 2 times the size.
3 GTA 5.
Yeah, 3 GTA 5s, 4 Skyrims, and even now it's like, how many galaxies? 1,000?
Yeah,
1 fucking million? I don't remember how many they said. They said a lot of places to explore, and when I hear that now, I don't go, ooh, I can't wait. I'm just like, ooh, how are they gonna sustain that? That doesn't seem reasonable. Meanwhile, Deathloop, they made 4 areas. Yeah. Take it or leave it. And they're good. They're fantastic areas because they took so much time and care to design everything. I mean, Arcane is really good at their level design.
Yeah.
But that was all that was all it took to keep me going for so long. I love Deathloop, man.
Yeah. So for you, someone that I know really likes the Bethesda open world RPGs, I would say you should get around to Skyrim at some point, or to Starfield at some point. You should get back to Skyrim. You should get around to Starfield at some point, but I wouldn't say that you need to play it like before you go out and play, let's say, Cyberpunk or Baldur's Gate or any of the big RPGs that are, new and fresh.
Yeah, man. I need to finish Monster Hunter World, dude.
What?
I'm on that post game.
Yeah.
That post game grind. You gotta get Fatalis.
Oh my god, that's such a grind, isn't it? In a good way. But
I think they improved it because when Iceborne ended and they released that like end game grind with the guiding lands or whatever, I believe that the grind was insane.
Yeah.
And everyone was really mad about that. But I believe they fixed it because I'm playing it, 2 years after they fixed all of it, so it should be fine. But Fatalis still is supposed to be like, because Monster Hunter World is kind of like It's the big one.
It's the Monster Hunter man's Monster Hunter.
Yeah. So, they made Fatalis completely fucking nuts. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I think that's going to be our time. So we'll send off. Good luck with your Monster Hunter.
Thank you.
And then I'll maybe pop back into Starfield for a little bit and report back. Sorry, I had a little timer.
That's funny.
But yeah, so this was your little bonus episode. Just wanted to do something while me and John were together in the same place. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you again soon for a regular episode.
Yes, sir.
Got anything for the people?
Yeah. Be excited for the next one.
Be excited for the next one.
Be excited for the next one. We don't have a topic yet, but we're going to make it. I'm just excited to record another big one again.
I am. And definitely keep an eye on our social media because I'm telling you right now that this Halo content we're making might be the best stuff we've ever done.
I'm giving it a full thumbs up with a big thumb.
Yeah.
A really big thumb.
All right. So until next time, we will see ya.